The hats are necessary, clearly. Okay, modulation. Ninth chords. Let's go. Ooh, okay. Now we're just getting juicy. Oh. Wow. It's not easy to do runs on these harmonies. Woo! That's a great mix. Ordinarily, I don't particularly care for Jacob Collier's tone quality. He's an amazing musician, like just absolutely phenomenal. I find that his tone quality can be. I don't want to get negative, but it's not for me. It's a little muscled, it's a little tense, but in this context, it really works because you get this. It's the fact that it's a little almost like neutered and it's not as robust means the layering, you can bring attention to the harmony because each note is not as rich in overtones. So many modulations. There's like mode mixture, there's modulate. It's not, to say that it changes keys all the time is not accurate. It does change keys, but you don't necessarily, just because you do chords that are not like, you know, that are enharmonic, that are outside of the scale, doesn't necessarily mean you're changing keys. You could be doing what's called mode mixture. You could be temporarily like shifting keys, but doesn't mean you've changed keys. You could just kind of like, if you do like a secondary dominant, which is a 5 of 5, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, and he's done like all of it, like all of the options. How many keys and chords do you want in here, Jacob Collier? He said, as many as I have faces in this video, and then some. Faces, yeah. Let's see. All the faces, all of them. A lot of depth. Obviously, we'll talk about Tori Kelly's incredible runs here, but there's a depth in right here where you get a sense of what Jacob Collier's voice can do on the low end here. The audio editing is amazing. Really hard to get a good clean mix like this. For Tori to be able to navigate these harmonies, because when you do runs, you don't just hit a bunch of notes. You got to be on the you got to be singing what is relevant to the music. And as the chords change and the keys change, you got to be changing the scale you're on. So I imagine this took a lot of practice, because this is not normal shit that you got to do. No one's sitting on a piano going like, maybe Jacob Collier does it, but it's like, let's do this weird esoteric chord progression. Let's just practice some scales on it. Like, no one does that. So unless you're like a jazz musician and you, for some reason you do this. Again, Jacob probably does that in his spare time because he's a weird dude. When I'm weird too, so I appreciate you, Jacob. But this is really kind of incredible. Just from a musicianship standpoint, it's ridiculous. I can't tell if she's singing with a higher larynx or if that's a really drastic low cut on her vocals. If I'm singing with a lowered larynx, right? Ah, si, ben mio pare, pare, something like that. Do that, and I want to take it down a notch. If I want to make room in the mix for other shit. Did that while the EQ is still on. If I want to make room for other people in the mix, okay, I got to do a low cut, like a pretty drastic one. La figlia dell'amore. My EQ also has a decibel cut on it, so give me a second here to adjust that. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So I switched between one EQ and the other. You can see how they have the same decibel cut. Both have the same decibel cut. One is significant because the amount of low, significantly louder than the other. It's just because the amount of low frequencies involved. So when I have one on, versus when I have the second EQ on. So it can be very deceptive when you have a lot of EQing going on. It can sound like Tori is almost singing like half voice. She's not singing with full voice. I think she's singing with full voice. But I think what's happened is that there's so much EQing going on because, you know, it's a mix. Not mix in the voice, like mix in the you know, the audio engineering point of view, right? Ooh, lovely vibrato. There's a lot of pitch correction going on as well, which is fine. I mean, everyone uses it. Everyone uses it, including myself. It's like, I don't know. Do you value your time, the app? Like, especially with this, it's, being told it's like 3,000 stems here. Okay? Stems, not notes, okay? There's more than 3,000 notes. There's 3,000 stems, tracks, okay? That's insane. So there's a lot of layers. And if you're going to do that, you have to have the ability to manipulate the pitches to get harmonies that are this clean. And you can't just use auto-tune. You have to, I specifically use pitch correction. So if I go to my looper, adjust the camera angle here. This would be example of equal temperament. This would be an example of equal temperament tuning. This is not like, the notes aren't like wrong, but they're not perfectly in tune with one another. They're not like sent perfect with one another. That's a chord. Why is it not as satisfying as when you listen to this? It's not because there's vibrato versus straight tone. That does make a difference. Let's not be like ridiculous. But it's because it's ridiculously in tune, but with one another. Pitch is relative. So when we get ratios that are that fit within the Pythagorean theorem, okay, which are these like ratios that get us into just tuning, where everything is in perfect ratio with one another. Get something special. Go from this, which isn't bad. That's not atrocious. I'm not mad about it, but it's not this. I'm gonna have to lower the volume so you don't blow it out in OBS. Yeah, you can even hear when it falls out though, right? When it's not just so. When it's not just so. Guess it's just tuning, get it? Ha! Funny, says aggressively. Anyway, the point being is that, you know, I've been doing this for 18 years, and to get just tuning on 3,000 stems, like, fuck off. Yeah, give me pitch correction, okay? That's what I mean by it's respect your time, the application, right? So we're talking Melodyne, we're talking like getting, you can use Antares Autotune, but you got to get in real deep. So the amount of work that went into this is absolutely insane. From the mixing, from the musicianship, from the technical ability, I mean, this is just stunning. To do it with this many voices is such a task. It's such a tall order.